Hello, it's Scott Manley here, once again looking at Star Citizen. Now, on the occasion of the second anniversary of the completion of the crowdfunding, they've allowed everyone to fly all the Origin 300 series spacecraft. There are 4 variants. The stock one is the Origin 300i. Origin are supposed to be the luxury vehicle maker. They make very nice styled vehicles. This one has a pair of laser cannons on the wingtips. It is supposed to be a step up from the Aurora. It's the kind of the next package up, costing about $60 or thereabouts. And you'll get that if you have the AMD Mustang package right now. Now the next step up is the Origin 315P. This in terms of armament doesn't have anything extra. It supposedly has an upgraded engine, but that certainly doesn't show itself in combat. It is designed for exploration. It has a tractor beam and a jump point scanner, which are completely useless in the game at this time because of course all you can do is fly around an arena and shoot at other players. That doesn't really involve scanning down jump points. Next step up is the 325A Origin, which is the militarized version. It has missiles and it has this nice mass driver in the nose. So for the Arena Commander mode, this is absolutely an upgrade, with the extra nose gun and the missiles making a difference to your combat effectiveness. The specs also suggest that the shields might be better, but that's pretty hard to tell when it's so hard to compare things. Now before the 325A was added, the regular 300 series trainer included the missiles, but that is no longer the case. If you want missiles, you have to go and strip them off some other spacecraft and fit them to your 300. Finally, we have the 350R. This is built just to go fast. Unlike all the others, it has 2 engines instead of 1, which makes its top speed 300 versus the paltry 220 that we get on the other 300 series variants. But getting access to this right now does involve spending $125, or at least playing them during this week, when you can actually fly the race course the way it was intended. Now, they've made access to all of these available for the next few days, so you can try them all out and see how effective they are. But if you actually want to see what these things look like, if you want to get up and walk around, they're not in the hangar, right? They're only accessible through Arena Commander. However, in free flight mode, what you can do is find one of the landing pads and very carefully position yourself over it. And I will say that external view helps a great deal. What you're going to select one of the correct viewpoints and then hit tab, and if you hit tab then it lets you rotate the spacecraft with the mouse. There we go. So now I can adjust with my joystick. This obviously requires a lot of work here to try and coordinate these. You can see that carefully labelled intake on the side, sucking in the vacuum of space. Now the undercarriage will come out, and I'll be able to put it down gently onto the landing pad and get out. Here we go. Oh. Well, I didn't expect that to happen. It was going very well until it crashed. Apparently, destroying landing gear is a fatal proposition in Arena Commander. Okay, once again, the usual disclaimer for this is an alpha, expect bugs. Okay, core systems are operational. Now if we get down there, we can see... Oh, the landing pad is occupied by someone. Why, that ship looks completely intact. What, is he just sitting there with his landing gear broken or something? Sitting next to it? I wonder if I can land on top of it. Okay, you see, this is where I start getting distracted trying to show you about getting out and walking around. There's the landing gear. You can hear the landing gear come out. There's no indicators in the cockpit, but you can hear it. There we go. The mating dance of the Origin 315P, yes. This is exploring more than just jump points. Look at that there, huh? And I'm pushing the buttons and it won't let me out, so I think I have to actually sit on the landing pad. Okay, do not explode this time. I prefer it if I could gently deposit it on the surface. Let's just turn, get the nose lifted, and touchdown. I think that's us. So now you gotta push the F key to get out, and that may be assigned to a control, so don't be surprised if your spacecraft actually moves. Yeah, no, still not working. Come on, get out. There we go. Now it has taken. So now I can get out and wander around the expanse of my spaceship. Appreciate it from the outside, from every angle. Imagine that I actually own this in my own hangar rather than just the Arena Commander simulation which exists inside the hangar simulation. Yes, that's kind of confusing, isn't it? Arena Commander is a simulation inside a simulation. It is a fine example of the phenomena of the gameception. Oh look, we have some danger, high voltage, or hazardous high voltage and all that. Danger, danger, high voltage. So, yeah, so now I can wander around. I can imagine that it's there. You can see the tractor beam fixed on the front there. I'm not sure you can see the jump point scanning stuff. Those are the Omnisky 4 laser cannons. And yeah, you appreciate the paint job. The 315 and the 325 are essentially upgraded versions of the 300, which have different parts and different paint jobs. There's no actual differences to the hull, and in theory you can convert a 300 to a 325 just by buying the correct parts and adding them on. But right now, given that you can only really buy parts from Voyager direct, I would say don't even try it. If you feel like upgrading, then in theory you can spend money on credits and buy the hardware and get yourself a better ship without the paint job. But that's a really bad idea. Please don't do that. Okay, so let's see if we can actually take off again. Now this can be glitchy as well. Sometimes the game doesn't see that you've actually landed. So let's... Nope. Nope. No, it does not want to lift off. It's... Oh, it's getting pulled down again. Despite being able... Look at my G-force indicator. I'm blacking out. There is that many G's holding me in place. I can go sideways and black out. Great. And the blackout actually works on external view as well. You know, apparently you can't look at your cameras either. Maybe it's confused that my doors are open. Come on, I'm gonna get this thing flying. Oh, look at him bouncing around in the cockpit here. Nose up, thrust. Nope. Come on, nose up, thrust. No. Okay. Oh, come on. Let's try going sideways. You can hear him going. Oh. Okay. Catastrophic damage. Oh. Now we've lost both wings, and we've lost the spacecraft. Oh well. Yes, it's a good thing that these are all loaner ships and this is a simulation, because it would suck to lose your spacecraft in-game like that. Let's see if we can find our wreckage in space. Where is it? Over here. Where is it? Where's the landing pad? It needs a landing beacon so we can find it. There it is. You see that? And you can see the debris just floating above it. Let's see if we can shoot it. Come on, turn yourself. Just, here we go. And I think the lasers are actually going either side of it. There we go. Ah, there, we get lasers actually hitting the hull, you can see it. But the damage model has stopped working apparently. The damage model only works when it's actually being flown. There we go, look at the detail on that, look at it. As it floats away with a pilot mysteriously missing from the cockpit. So I wanted to actually try flying combat with the 350R because the extra speed ought to make it a lot more fun against the AI. You see, it actually has Omnisky 4 laser cannons. I thought those were supposed to be 3s, but I could be wrong. Anyway, you know, they have nerfed the AI in Arena Commander in Vanduul Swarm quite ridiculously. You can actually just put an asteroid between you and the aliens, and they will literally fly into it. In theory, I'm guessing you could just keep your distance from the Vanduul using your extreme speed, and watch them slowly pile themselves into asteroids. But the laser cannons are actually pretty potent. They do a serious amount of damage. The rapid fire weapons on the Hornet don't do nearly as much damage as these single laser cannons. Also, these laser cannons actually have longer range. So let's see if we can set ourselves up again. We'll try and put ourselves behind an asteroid and watch the AI kick in. Now obviously the AI was previously a lot better. They've deliberately turned it down, at least in the early stages, to make the game more entertaining, because, you know, having completely vicious AI is not necessarily fun for a single player gameplay experience. But to be fair, I feel that this has reached, you know, Stormtrooper levels of comedy at how inept the Vanduul are. They're supposed to be badass. I am honestly going to be quite interested to see when they add the Vanduul as a flyable ship. The Scythe will be added as a flyable ship, and we will see other players trying to exploit it. Either that or see other players realising that it is just about as good as a TIE fighter, which was of course cannon fodder. Who knows, it will be interesting to find out if there are people complaining that their $300 limited edition alien spaceship is rubbish compared to a $30 Aurora. Speaking of limited edition ships, they are having a sale this week, and by sale I mean they're just putting some limited edition ships back on sale again. So you can pick up the Retaliator, the 350R, the M50, the Cutlass Black, the Gladiator. All these ships are available, and they're available with 2-year insurance. And insurance is always good to have because things like this happen. I'm not sure what actually killed me there, but it worked very effectively. You can also get the Aurora LX, which was the first variant spaceship. It's actually not that good. It's basically a slightly upgraded version of the standard Aurora starter ship. But a lot of people are looking at it because you can get it with 2 years insurance, and then you can use a cross-chassis upgrade to upgrade it to any other spaceship, right? That's flyable, so you could get yourself for the same price a standalone Hornet for with 2 years insurance. That is fine, but don't get it as part of a game package, because if you use the cross-chassis upgrades, I don't think you get the extra credits or game boxes or various other things like that. Just do it on standalone spaceships if you are really, really wanting that. I was also saying that, you shouldn't spend money on the Voyager Direct guns and stuff. If you really want to upgrade your spaceship, buy a better spaceship. The reason is that if you spend money in the Voyager store, you don't get to keep it in your hangar, whereas if you spend money on a spaceship, you can always melt it down and get it back as store credit. So it's a much better way to go if you can avoid, I'm not dissing the Voyager store if that's what you want. I'm just saying that on paper, if you're just paying to win, it makes more sense to buy spaceships rather than standalone guns. Anyway, despite its inherent fragility, the speed of the 350R make it a lot of fun in Arena Commander, at least especially in the early stages where you're dealing with AI that is highly likely to fly itself into asteroids. You can just play with the AI in the asteroid field, and then you get away with not firing a shot. And so we finished at only stage 6 with the Vanduul living up to their reputation. Now you can also use this in the PvP arena. It flies just fine, and again you can have a lot of fun, letting other spaceship crash into things. The humans don't seem to be quite as good at flying into asteroids as you are, but if you don't let them, they will almost certainly never catch you. The problem you will face is that your guns don't really do nearly as much damage as a fully loaded Hornet, so you are at a damage disadvantage. And even if you can fly circles around your opponent like I'm doing here, you'll find that other players in the game are off shooting and killing things while you are off showing off your fancy flying skills and not actually getting much points for it. Kills count a lot more than actually just shooting the guy. Also, you'll find that if you're in a squad battle, that you're quite likely to end up getting shot by friendly fire as your friends start attacking. There's only one hostile here, and he is not getting a bead on me at all, but I start taking damage here from, I'm taking damage from friendly fire here, can you believe? Clearly they're jealous, but despite doing a lot of damage to this guy, somebody else gets credit for the kill. Still, it's a lot of fun flying this thing. The 325 is obviously the other option. The other two spacecraft, the 315 and 300, are practically identical, right? Although the 315 has all this extra hardware, it's not any use in Arena Commander. So if you're gonna get an upgrade just for Arena Commander, get the 325A that has actual extra guns and extra missiles. Now you'll notice that there are two targeting indicators. The one nearest my crosshair is for the lasers, and the one slightly further out, the little triangle, that is for the mass driver cannon on the nose. Obviously, you can swap that out if you can find a weapon which will fit in that slot, but it's not clear which ones always fit, and given the state of the UI for fitting up the spacecraft, you can find yourself experiencing a lot of frustration as you actually try to figure out which bits fit on which part of the spacecraft and why this bit doesn't fit there despite the fact that it looks like it should fit there, etc, etc. I'm sure at some point we will see modifications to the fitting system. It looks like it was designed to look really cool, but it isn't really that functional. Anyway, yeah, this is me trying to use the mass driver cannon. It's kind of hard. It has 100 shots of ammunition, 60mm shells apparently. But the ones on the wings, those are lasers, and those have infinite number of shots, but they do happen to overheat and slow down their firing. So obviously using those together takes a bit of work, given that they target two separate locations. So it's very rare that firing all weapons actually makes sense. Oh, look, he's still alive! I'm trying to take down this Vanduul Prime, and he is just not managing to die. At this point, I'm not sure it's worth wasting a missile on this hobbled target. There, killed Vanduul Prime, Little King. You can see that even at 3 kilometers out, my targeting indicator comes up, indicating that I'm in range. So, you know, if you want, you can really exploit the range on these weapon systems to keep yourself out of the fight. And again, given how terrible the AI has been made to be at this time, you might actually get plenty of kills from that and from the AI just flying into asteroids and stuff. The missiles are undeniably an upgrade, but it does kind of feel weird that they took the missiles off of the trainer version, so people that were previously flying 300s with missiles and guns now just have guns, unless they happen to own the military version, which is like $25 more. Once again, you know, in its current state, it is absolutely undeniably pay to win. But this is not its final state, of course, and this is specially set up for fundraising to try and encourage people to spend money on the game to make it the most awesome space game ever, or something like that, right? Obviously, I'd like them to make the best space game ever, but right now, you know, it's not released. It's certainly a bunch of tech modules held together. The best space game is obviously EVE Online. The best space game where you're actually flying things is probably Elite Dangerous, or probably X3. X Rebirth! Oh dear, yes, we really wanted that to be amazing. And for pure mission-based space combat, you can make a solid argument for Diaspora, the Free Space 2 total conversion that turns it into Battlestar Galactica. Definitely worth having, but yeah, one day this will be great. So anyway, check out the Star Citizen anniversary sale. As I said, it's not really a sale because nothing is getting put out cut price, except on Friday, I believe. On Friday, they're going to be selling the Javelin, which is going to be the largest spaceship yet. It's going to be something like 250 meters of pure military awesomeness, but it's going to cost you $2,500. However, at the same time as they're selling that, they're going to sell several thousand Aurora packages at half price. So if you want to get into Star Citizen, pay attention for this, and you might be able to get in cheap. Anyway, until then, I'm Scott Manley. Fly safe.